This time I'd like to call the June 5th Board of Works meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Tells me what's gonna happen, you know.
Mayor Schmidt?
Here.
Jason Summer?
Here.
I won't be the result.
Here.
Clerk?
Okay, minutes from the previous meeting. You all should have received a copy of those minutes. Are there any?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Yes. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you guys have it. Under old business, awarding of the solid waste bid. I would entertain a motion at this time to approve the awarding of the contract. And as we've discussed, this can be cut in different ways. Depending upon how you look at it, renewable could be treated as the lowest, most responsive bid, or advanced disposal could be treated in that capacity. Depending upon whether there are fuel increases, renewables bid is bumps up 22 cents for every 50-cent increase in fuel over $2.50. It's my understanding that the Board of Works, after having conversed with renewable and advanced, is likely going to be making a recommendation in favor of renewable. And if that's the case, I'd entertain a motion to that effect, or any discussion that the Board of Works should like to have.
I'll make that motion, we go with renewable under the circumstances.
Okay. And that's contingent upon the
Contingent
execution
upon
of
the
the contract.
contract, right.
I have a motion to approve awarding the contract to Renewable Resources for trash pickup. Do I hear a second to that motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. I have nothing under new business. Do either of you have new business that you want to bring to the attention of the Board of Works?
No.
Public comment?
Yeah, I have some questions. Is there someone here from Renewable?
Anybody here from renewable?
It's not.
Okay, Bruce, you it is. I know in what they had submitted in the bid was that they were going to review the current schedule and then be setting a schedule. Do you have an approximate time of when that will be? Because it looked to me like from the bid that this was going to begin July 1.
Well, that's gonna be kinda up to, where's Jeff and Lynn at, back in the back? Have you talked to them as to when, how long is it gonna take to get this
Well, I haven't
settled up?
talked to any of them until this bid was let.
Huh?
I haven't talked to any of them until we decided what we were gonna.
Okay,
do.
but I mean, how, I guess the
We're
question
looking at
is.
about a month and a half, right now.
Yes.
Time to get the carts in here
Okay.
and place them.
So we're looking more like August 1st right now, is what you're saying? August 1st, the deadline time?
Yes.
Okay, has anyone informed some of these units where I know in the bids it said no more than 5 units in a family dwelling, which I know like up here at 519 and 525 East State Street, those are units of 8 in each building, and they have trash pickup, so they will not be eligible for trash pickup. Is anyone going to be notifying these places such as that they will have to come up with some type of receptacle for their people?
What's the address that has the?
Well, the one I know right offhand, because I used to live there, is the 519 and 525. They're owned by Jones Enterprises up here on East State Street. There's 2 buildings, they're 8 units each.
Just,
They have trash
east of the
pickup
middle school?
currently.
Yeah.
Yes,
And there's how many units there?
8 per building.
And they're not using a dumpster?
No, there's no dumpster. They never had dumpster. And they've all had trash pickup and they've always paid for trash pickup.
And to be clear, there's no commercial pickup at all in this.
Yes, there is.
There is commercial
There
pickup.
is. I forget the number of units that we disclosed. It would be up to a certain number of units that would be commercial trash pickup.
Okay,
I
so
think you remember the number, Bruce, no more than
I
25.
think 25 was the max.
And what are those? Where
The
are those?
specific units,
Yeah.
they would be commercial. I can give you the list.
It's ones we currently pick up trash for now?
Yes, yeah.
Is it around the square, or is it businesses like Dr. Krishna, or is
Yeah,
that?
some of them were around.
Some of them are around the square,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, I know they used to pick up at my place,
Right.
for example. They do not now, I take it to our house, but I think there are some around the square that are being picked up, yeah.
Okay.
But the spec specified that there would be up to X number, and I think it's 25 of commercial trash pickups.
So right now, how many commercial are we picking up?
Around 50.
50? Who determines the 25 that we left out?
Did you say 50 or 15?
50.
50?
So who determines the 25 that gets left out?
No, it would have, if it was 50, do you remember, Jeff, this in the specs? We wouldn't have gone lower than the number that we're picking up right
I
now.
was gonna say, we would.
So it must have been, the specs must have said 50 or more. It wouldn't have said 25 if we're currently picking up 50.
Right now, the city picks up some receptacles at the park and around the square, Bicentennial Park, those places. Who's taking care of that? And where's that gonna go, or how are we getting rid of that trash?
We have our own guys that pick up that trash and take that off, you know, as far as city workers that do that right now.
The
So
sanitation truck picks them up around the square, Costello ones and the ones inside the square around the courthouse. That I know because I see them do it every week.
right.
So what's the plan there?
I mean, obviously, we're not gonna have these guys stopping it every single time. We're gonna have our guys, because we're still gonna have a truck, you know, that our guys go and utilize to pick up anything that might be missed, you know, whenever Renewable does it, if that's the case. But we always obviously wanna have a backup as well, just to have. So our guys are gonna take care of that around the parks, Bicentennial Park, stuff like that themselves.
So, but that doesn't fill a truck, so you gotta drive a truck to Pike County to dump it. Is that gonna sit there and wait before it gets full, or how's that exactly?
It's not that much, we're gonna have a pickup. You know, obviously, our guys will work out the details to where the trash is not gonna build up at the parks or anything like that, and we're not gonna rely on Renewable.
We usually
to
run them
replace
twice
it.
a week, this time of
Exactly.
year, and once, in the park.
Something else, since you went with renewable, the other two bids clearly stated on their holiday schedules. They all stated the days, but the other two bids stated on what days they would be picking up if your trash pickup day fell on a holiday. Renewable did not. Like they said, like on the 4th of July is Tuesday, that actually happens to be my trash pickup day. So they would be picking up on Wednesday along with Wednesday's trash. Will renewable be doubling back and picking up those 2 days also? Or will that throw somebody into a Saturday pickup?
So Sherry, state your question again,
The holiday schedule, and they all have the same days in there that are set for the holidays that they take off. But in Republic and in advance bid, it stated that if your trash pickup day fell on a holiday, your trash would be picked up the next day along with the other trash as well that's on that day. Like Tuesdays and Wednesdays would be picked up if we were doing it next month or this next month on the 4th of July. It would all be picked up on that Wednesday. But renewables does not specify that. They don't have anything
I think it's
there.
in the specs that they've gotta pick it up within on the next business day.
So then they would be picking up 2 days as well.
2 days worth, yes.
They'll
If
be
I'm
here
remembering correctly.
On a normal week, they'll be here 5 days a week, correct?
Right.
Okay, is there gonna be some type of public campaign that lets the customers and citizens of our town know, notify how many cans they want, where their cans are supposed to be located? I'm a little concerned in my district because I have the most street side parking of any other district, how that's going to work when you got cars parked all along the block, where do they put their cans and how does that get set up? And how do they know?
It'll be a campaign of some sort.
There will absolutely be a campaign, you know, in addition to, you know, obviously the media that is here tonight is going to get that word out, as well as we have the Clarion, which is a very good source for people. Facebook, we're also going to be posting heavily on there, as well as we're able to utilize the water bills when they go out, be able to send that to them as well as a contact number for those people that have questions on exactly where to set it and all of that stuff. So that's a good question. Yes, we will have a heavy campaign.
Greg or Sherry, I'm not sure who asked this, going back to the number of commercial pickups, the specs provided for no more than 75. commercial,
That should
retail.
cover everybody we're
industrial.
doing now.
And Sherry, to get back to your question about the 8 and the project and the apartments building. I didn't know there was one, we used 5 as a figure. Do we pick up on the 8? We're picking up now.
What was your, what, I'm sorry.
The 8, Sherry brought a question, there was a couple units where we have 8 apartments in one building. We set the specs to 5 individuals. Are we going to go ahead and include the 8 then? I mean, that's part of the 2,900, I imagine.
Yes.
Or would they fall into this with the 75 maximum commercial?
Well, you can put them either place you
Either
want,
or.
doesn't make any difference.
I think it'd be residential.
Bottom line is, they'll get picked up.
They'll get picked up, okay.
And on the holiday question, what the specs provide is those eligible units that are skipped by reason of the collection day falling on a legal holiday shall be served on the next work day. No collection shall be made from any types of premises on Sunday. Saturdays will only be allowed for missed pickups and holidays as described.
So they could very well bump to the Saturday on a holiday, on a week that has a holiday in it. Okay. Big question I'm getting, since this all came out in the paper Friday about picking the bids today. Are they allowed to leave their cans on the street all week?
Are the consumers or the
The customers.
Customers?
I think there's a current,
What are they-
I think there's a current ordinance that you're not allowed to.
I've asked about that and I've yet to see that. But I think Clinton is looking that up for me.
What do we do now when there's?
It's 24 hours. You're not supposed to set anything out 24 hours prior to the day that they pick up.
And
It's 24 hours.
Take it back within 24 hours after. So, yep.
So there's an ordinance on the books
Yes,
to that
there
effect.
is an ordinance, I remember that now.
Well, I have a bunch of people breaking that currently.
You do, yeah, we do.
Bunch of them.
I've stopped at much in my district.
I'm trying.
I was gonna say, I've heard, definitely from Jan's district a lot on individuals.
Well, actually, the ones that I had heard from was the little old lady that has a half a bag of trash. She doesn't even own a trash can at the current moment.
Yeah.
She takes her trash out, all her garbage goes down the garbage disposal, or she feeds it to her dog. Everything else is about a half a bag of trash. She doesn't have a can, she takes it out that morning, the trash is coming in her neighborhood to pick it up. She's concerned about whether she's gonna be able to tug this 95-gallon tote back and forth to her backyard.
The dog probably weighs close to that now too.
Yeah, because it eats all
All
the
the
garbage.
scraps, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that people are going to be surprised about is the ease of mobility of these units, because they really are. You know, engineers have done a terrific job as far as using leverage on these things to where it is very easy to roll to and from, even regardless of how much trash is in there. They really, obviously, if you're gonna throw cinder blocks and stuff like that, it's gonna be a little bit different. But for that person who really doesn't have a lot of trash, or who do have a lot of trash, this is still gonna be easier, honestly, than many of the trash cans that they currently have right now. So. Check that.
Help answer that question. If we get in a situation where someone's handicapped or can't get it out there, we're gonna send somebody to get it out there for them. Not because they had a bad night, but because they can't get it out there, they will.
And that's stuff that the
And
guys.
we do that all.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's stuff. that-
Because there are people.
Yeah. Because there are guys, I mean, there are some that they know, that are elderly, that they've taken care of for a while. We're gonna continue to do that, for them. This isn't one of those where, oh, see you waiting for the 10% out, so.
That's all the questions I had.
The only thing and I'm not, this is only my second year on the council, and my question is about the, if there would be a rate increase after the first year, or however that works out, is that a council issue that comes between the council that has to decide if there's a rate increase? So, So even though the council's not deciding whether or not we're gonna do trash privatization, the council has to be the bearer of bad news and raise the rates.
If a rate increase is necessitated, yes.
Okay.
And what happens if there's not, if the council votes down a rate increase? What does that do to the 5-year contract?
It's gonna be contingent upon, the contract will be contingent upon council approval if a rate increase is necessitated.
In other words, next year, if we have to have a rate increase, we come to you guys and you don't want to give the rate increase,
Then it potentially could go back up for bid at that time. Is that correct? Well, not potentially, it would go back up for bid.
Oh, yeah, I guess we have to, yes. And
Would a fixed rate not have been a better way to go in that situation?
from this. Why can't yet? I don't want year two.
Sherry asked the question. Go ahead,
Would
Sherry.
a fixed rate not have been a better way to go?
If you can predict the future, we don't know if the fuel is going to go up, if the fuel does not go up.
Right, on this one it is, but I believe one of them was a fixed rate.
Correct.
Advance was a fixed rate, and then Republic got a maximum 3.5 increase.
Yeah. And sure, I know you've got your mind wrapped around this because we were discussing it walking in, but what renewable does is for every 50% fuel increase in year 2 and subsequent years. Every 50 cent, increase on 250. So when it goes from 250 to $3 or above, but less than 350, it's a 22 cent increase per household.
And
So in year 2, it could go up to $10.81 from $9.95, but that would be a increase of $1.50 on fuel.
and what
That's
they,
what Bruce was explaining.
what they've done is they've loaded up basically 3 increases in the first year, okay? And then, since I asked for maximum rates at the meeting, and we'd asked for the maximum rates that they were gonna charge us, they put that in as the first year, not knowing whether it could go up that far in 1 year, it might not. But if it doesn't, in year 2, they'll back down. If it's still between 250 or under 250 and between 250 and 3, it will only get the cost of living, and the 66 cents will be backed off of that. Okay? And the same way, or if it goes up to 3 1/4, fuel goes up to 3 1/4, then it'll go $9.95 plus 22 cents plus the cost of living rate that they have built into 3%. Yeah. So the prices they're showing that they show are the maximum. That would be if the price went up next year and stayed that way. And then if it went over $4, they're eating it because we're only allowing up to the 3. So, I mean, they're gonna have to stay within these maximums, in other words. And the same way on environmental. I mean, you know, we all know environmental hits every once in a while in the government, then that's gonna be a deal where they can come down and talk about it, but we don't have to accept it if it goes above the maximum. I mean, the contract's gonna be written that way, let's put it that way.
With all due respect to the bidders and all those involved, and obviously this is a very important decision. Obviously, I'm with Republic Services, and my name's Todd Chamberlain. It appears to me that the importance of a fixed rate, or as close to a fixed rate, was of significant importance to the decision makers. What I'm hearing here is a significant misunderstanding of what fixed is when you consider all bids. Obviously, this is an open bidding process. I can only speak for myself, but we did not include in our bid any fuel language. We simply stated a water sewer trash index with a maximum. We were asked to bid out for 5 years, and all bidders put in for 5-year rates. But what I'm hearing now is that there is an initial rate, plus there is a potential fuel language adjustment, plus and/or an environmental or whatever surcharge for the apparent board or apparent awarded bidder. Is that what I'm understanding based on what I've heard?
No environmental, right?
No.
Or an adjustment, cost of living, CPI?
3% cost of living adjustment.
Yeah, there's a,
Okay.
and I don't know if you built a 3% rate increase or cost of living in yours or not. The other two companies did. And then you base the rest of your increase, I presume, for maximum based on the wastewater, the sewer.
No, our bid was based on the initial rate
Yeah.
plus a maximum of 3.5%,
Okay.
and that is it, each year. There would not have been any additional surcharge, fuel, or any other language, and that would have been the maximum rate in our bid.
Okay.
So, more importantly, I would like some clarification on, was there allowed in this bid specification fuel language?
If you recall, I brought that up in the meeting, that I wanted all your fuel, and any fuel costs, you guys were the experts on the fuel and how it's been fluctuating. So I wanted anything having to do with fuel, or, and the bottom line, I wanted to see the maximum cost, because that was the most we were gonna put in.
And that,
And that
and
includes
answer that?
fuel, that includes environmental, whatever else you guys end up with.
Absolutely, and that is precisely why our company, Republic Services, felt like a maximum based on water, sewer, trash, third-party independent index would be the best way to look at that from our perspective. Just for clarification.
Okay, but the bottom line is the maximums came out, I mean, what they slotted is the maximums, and the only reason that renewable got a question was because theirs jumps so much from year one to year two, and that was the reason. And of course, their comment was true. You didn't ask for minimums, you asked for maximums. That was our maximum. If this does not happen, then that 66 cents or 22 cents will not apply. So that's where we stand. Yes, sir.
Just a question, are you guys doing only trash, or is this trash and recycling?
No, it's just trash.
Just one trash? Just a question.
This, I'm with Advanced. On the 5-year deal, when you factored in their maximum versus our maximum versus their maximum,
30-cent difference
30-cent difference.
over the 5-year period. Yes, I'm aware of
What's
that.
your total dollar amount over the 5-year period?
Well, it depends upon whether there's a fuel increase.
Right.
It's with the absolute max that renewable would charge is, and this is, of course, your spreadsheet.
Yeah.
That was compiled. The absolute max that they're gonna charge is 1.9 million, and the absolute max that Advanced would charge is 1.847 million.
Over the 5-year period, there's a $53,000 savings if you go max to max. Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is,
There's a chance you won't hit it.
yeah.
Right. Correct. Anything else?
Do you guys consult with other towns that use renewable, just to make sure that the customer service is happy, that I don't have property in Worth County?
Their specs, every one of their specs had people that use their services and what they thought of them. So just-
The rates, though, is what you're asking?
They provide you the contact, or have you reached out independently to anybody?
Somebody's reached out.
I know Jeff and those guys, they've reached out.
Charlie probably was telling. Not directly, but yeah, we've heard what other communities are charging from a gentleman from the State Board of Accounts.
And our rates are very reasonable, you know, as far as what
I
others
agree there,
are.
I have part-time, work for Worth County part-time, and I have
Exactly.
property there, I just.
Yeah, exactly. You wanted that. Yep.
The rates will not change.
I got a picture I'd like to pass around. We've got some employees here that have been on the trash and stuff. They're picking up stuff around Princeton, they're in bags laying down and all that. With the fact that there's hypodermic needles and stuff sticking in these, if we, no matter who we brought in, that was a big factor to us to try to get this cleaned up to where we're taking them out of harm's way also.
And just so everybody knows, the rate for the first year of $10 that we charge now will not change.
We are learning new details.
Address the second year when the second year comes. A lot of it will depend on how that 66 cents plays out, whether it's subtracted or whether it stays where it's at.
And even at our average on what trash per household is compared to
Elsewhere.
other communities and that kind of thing, it's probably on the lower end, right?
Speculating, but I would say yes. Okay. Any other public comment? Thank you. Any other business for the Board of Works? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned.